What is going on with this?
I don't know. It's almost like the boomerang feature.
I don't understand. Hey, Dr. Tiff, how are you?
Hey, Barbecue Jim, how are you?
I think I'm going to make it through. I feel like once again, we just started talking again. Like we blinked and here we are. Um, how was your week?
It was a week. I'm sure everybody knows about that. You have harder weeks than others, but here I am, excited to talk about these products I love.
You know what, Dr. Tiff? I think I want to give a tip of the hat to you and say thank you. And I think I speak for our audience when I make this statement. Thank you for doing this with us. There is no real reason for you to have to. You don't have to do this. Come in and give your time to us the way that you do week in and week out. And we really do appreciate that. So at least I do. And thank you for coming in and letting me kind of hit you with some hard questions.
You're welcome.
Um, Everybody, welcome to our live stream. So my name is Jim, and I used to be a type 2 diabetic. I'm a competitive barbecue kind of guy. I do love my barbecue, and I found myself a lot like a lot of people in that arena, a little bit overweight and then type 2 diabetic, and had high blood pressure and high cholesterol and high everything, it seemed like. And I was kind of just content with doing the pharmaceutical route. I was on metformin. I was on, it was 2,000 milligrams a day of metformin, which is a max dose, a 4.5 milligram pen of Trulicity, which was a max dose. Rosuvastatin, I was on 40 milligrams a day of rosuvastatin, which is a max dose statin medication. And then I was on, 50 milligrams a day of losartan. Not a max dose, as I understand, kind of a starter dose, doctor, is that right? But nonetheless.
Yeah, kind of. Middle.
Okay, yeah. Kind of on what a good friend of mine, Rose, says is the starter pack. My starter pack. Okay. The beauty of this is I am now completely unmedicated. My A1C is 5.2%. I've been unmedicated for type 2 diabetes, for about a year, a little over a year and a half now. Awesome. I have reversed type 2 diabetes. I'm in remission. If you don't like the word reverse, maybe you like the word remission. If you don't like the word remission, my doctor took me off my medications because she doesn't think I have it anymore. So however you want to word it, I don't have it. And I decided I was going to go to social media and talk about the products, the Unicity Field Grade System, which is what we're getting ready to get into. And along the way, I have met the wonderful Dr. Tiffany Marie. Doc, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience?
Yes. Well, hello, everybody. And I appreciate the warm welcome all the time. Who doesn't love the Healthy Pitmaster? Everybody has met you when you're in Utah and they were like, oh my gosh, he was so great. I was like, I told you he's great. Why else would I be doing this with him? But anyway, so I am just a doc who is tired of writing prescriptions. Okay. And I know that sounds crazy because you guys think that's what we love to do, but I'm not the only crazy person, and you'll get to hear from somebody else. But I actually want to see people get better and not have to take medications all the time. So because there's ways to change how you live your life, how you eat, when you eat, and when you do those things, you don't have to be on all those meds like Barbecue Jim here. So once I got my eyes open to that and took my red pill, like I like to say from the Matrix reference, there was no looking back. And I've been helping family. I've been helping friends. I've been shouting from the rooftops. I've been getting on TikTok and I'm doing stuff like this because this is exciting for me. So I'm so happy you guys are on here, and I hope you're tagging people like crazy because they need to hear this.
Yeah, tagging. We're seeing a lot of people tagging people in the comments here. If you are new to us and you've been tagged, that means whoever tagged you into this live stream thinks that this system, this information could benefit you. So if that's the case, do them a favor, stick around and listen to it. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. If it does benefit you and you decide, hey, you know what, I think I want to try and order this stuff, I want to give this a shot, just get with the person who tagged you and they'll tell you how to order the product. Now, if you've been here before and you are excited about the product and you want other people to hear about it, tag somebody. In fact, I'm going to invite everybody. I'm going to tell you I'm going to encourage everybody. Let's get 5 tags. Just hit the @ symbol on your keyboard and then start typing their name at Dr. Tiffany, and you'll see Dr. Tiffany pop up. Hit enter and they'll be tagged, and they will get the notification for this the next time they're on Facebook, or well, that's for Facebook. If they don't have Facebook and you want them to get this information, it's also being live streamed on YouTube. Dr. Tiffany, it's being live streamed on my YouTube at the Real Gym BBQ or the Healthy Pit Master, but it's also being live streamed on Dr. Tiffany's. Doctor, why don't you give your socials as well?
Yep, it's being live streamed on Dr. Tiffany Marie, and that's the same place on Instagram, but I haven't fixed that, so it's not going to Instagram today. I'm not doing it.
Okay. Now, typically we go through with our questions and the presentation of what the problem is, but last week we kind of changed it up, and I liked it. I don't know about you, Doc, and we didn't even talk about this, but I liked the way that went. Did you?
Yeah.
I think we should do that again. I think we should go straight to a testimonial, kind of just get things warmed up, and then we'll come back to the presentation and my hard-hitting question for you. What do you think?
Okay. Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Well, then I'm going to hand the baton off to you, since this is somebody that you know that I don't.
Oh yes. I'm so excited about this. One, because I'm always excited about having other health professionals that have had their eyes open to different ways of doing things. So this Dr. Bowden, and she's a naturopathic doctor. In fact, she is owner and founder of Bowden's Natural Holistic Solutions, Natural Health Solutions, I'm sorry. But holistic provider for 30 years, I mean, at least, right? And so she's been in this field of trying to do these alternative ways to help people get better, need less prescriptions, hopefully need none. And so I am excited to have her here to tell her story and to even open our eyes a little bit more about what naturopathic medicine is.
I want to just clarify something real quick. Did you just say 30 years?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm all ears.
Yes. Welcome, Dr. Bowden.
She doesn't look.
Hi there. Is my mic on?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Is my mic on? All right. Great. Thank you for having me here today.
Yes. We're excited.
So I am Dr. Janisa Bowden, and just to clarify a little bit, I've been in healthcare for 30 plus years.
Still.
But I've been a naturopathic doctor for the past 12 years.
Okay.
So I actually found out about unicity from a colleague, Miss Worley Safatter. She's always introducing me to, some natural holistic things here. And she was just getting into it herself, actually. And she was like, have you ever heard of unicity? And I'm like, no. She's like, well, it's about like those shots, but this is more the natural form. And just read about yerba mate tea, because I'm also an herbalist. And I was like, okay. I did my research and everything, and I actually fell in love with the science behind it. And being a naturopathic doctor, we're always looking for not necessarily simple, but therapeutic, effective, supplements for our clients. Not to say that synthetics, don't work and not recommended, but they are. But I try to stay more on the natural form of things. So I just researched the products, fell in love with the science behind it, and I personally like trying supplements before I start recommending supplements. Mm-hmm. Therefore, one, I'll know if it works, and two, I can share my experience with my clients. And so I've been on Unicity for a little bit over 2 months now. And it's just like it says, you feel great. I feel wonderful. And I've lost probably 10 pounds within these 2 months. People tell me, no, you look like you've lost more. But my scales say around 10. I have not measured, so I'm sure I've lost some inches also, because I can tell that in my clothes. And I'm getting into some blue jeans that I hadn't gotten into since last year.
Yeah, that's huge.
So yes, ma'am. And just to share a little bit about last week. So I was traveling last week, and I wasn't as consistent as normal with it. So I did notice some swelling in my left ankle. Um, since yesterday, back on track.
Awesome.
The swelling has gone down tremendous. So I don't think anyone has mentioned anything about edema and swelling and things like that has improved. So yes, it works for edema also. So and then too, fatigue and tiredness really hadn't been one of my symptoms prior to unicity, but I could tell the difference with not being as consistent, that now getting back on track. But I do feel much better.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for correcting me. The point is, though, lady, you don't look like you've been in the healthcare field for 30 years either. You look good. That was the point.
She don't look 30 years old.
I know. Those good genes.
All right.
Okay, so you just mentioned edema. Okay, I've heard a lot of things. Can you elaborate? What is that?
In progress.
Can you build on that a little bit? What is that?
Just swelling, your body holding on to fluids.
Okay.
Okay. And then it'll show up in different limbs and areas of your body. So I had the fat ankle.
I think it's pronounced cankle. I love this. I love the fact. I hope you don't mind my. Now I'm going to kind of want to dig in. I'm just getting to know you. I'm fascinated. You've got a similar story to what Dr. Tiffany had, in that you did traditional medicine for a long time and then kind of started transitioning over to the holistic side or the functional side. Why? And I'm asking
I wasn't a medical doctor. I did nursing duties, and prior to stepping out of that, I managed multiple family medicine clinics. But just seeing patients coming in with bags of prescriptions, and then just leaving with more prescriptions, I did not want to have to be that person to, what you might say, diagnose someone with something that they may not have, because again, the insurance game out there is what I call it. And I did not want to be the person to have to prescribe someone with a medication. I'm not a pill person, even though sometimes I may have to take a pill, but I'm not a pill person. And I just wanted more. And I researched, healthcare is a broad field, I researched and found naturopathic, and I loved that approach. I love that wellness approach, giving the body exactly what it needs for it to do what the good Lord designed it to do, which is to heal itself. And so that's what I did while I worked full time. Went to naturopathic school, got my ND, and then continued on and got my PhD in natural medicine. So yes, love it.
I love that story. I love every bit of that story. Doc, I'll hand off to you. And what I'm going to do before I hand off to Dr. Tiffany is I want to ask the audience, for those that are currently on the Unicity field rate system, would you do us a quick little favor and just make a comment in the comment section of what the system has done for you personally since you started taking it? And again, don't exaggerate, nothing like that. We want what actually it has done for you. But if you would do that, I'm going to hand off to Dr. Tiffany and let Dr. Tiffany ask Dr. Bowden some questions. And I'm going to highlight those comments that you guys make on the screen as they go forward.
Well, you know what? The swelling side of things, I'm glad you brought that up, is because insulin is a, what we like to call it, it holds on to fluid. So that is, when you have insulin resistance, when you have too much insulin floating around, it's not that strange you had it snipped there actually accumulating, especially when you're traveling. So I'm glad you brought that up because that's huge. Because when you improve the insulin resistance, that fluid goes away. That's why some people actually get some frequent urination. So what would you say is one of the best things you noticed about being on the products? What's the thing that you said, okay, I just love this? May not have the full science for it. What would you say was your thing?
My thing, weight loss.
The weight loss. You know what I liked? I liked the energy. I liked the mood. I mean, I like the fact that I stopped having my hot flashes. I mean, who doesn't like that? I started getting them, and then all of a sudden they went away. Soon as I started doing these products, about a couple of months. So I have been loving all that too. And of course, you know, the shrinkage always is nice when you fit into those outfits you weren't wearing a couple months ago or a year ago. You know, that's nice. That's nice.
You know, yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that because I hadn't really paid attention to that. The hot flashes. I would get the night sweats and the hot flashes, which now that I think about it has improved.
Usually when I bring that up to women, they're like, yeah, mine stopped happening. Nobody's looking for that because we don't believe it's going to go away. Right. And so when you bring it up, they're like, me too, me too, me too. I'm like, yes, I loved it. So yeah, I'm glad you noticed that too. That's perfect. Oh, look at these great results here.
Wow.
So many. Down 100 pounds. Glenda, a moment ago, down 120 pounds. If we're talking about weight. But notice how many people are down right here. A1C, her husband's A1C dropped 4 points.
Yes.
Now, both of y'all are doctors. How often do you see somebody's A1C go down by 4 points? That's not easily done.
Yeah, not without medications that quickly or that easily. I have some people that work really, really hard to get a couple points down, and I'm happy for them. But yeah, I haven't seen that happen as easily as it's been happening with these products.
Okay, well, Dr. Bowden, I'm going to go ahead and shut this camera off, but if you don't mind sticking around for us, because I'd like to bring you back into the live stream to have our audience ask kind of a roundtable question. Anybody that has any questions, they'd be able to ask them directly of you or Tiff or myself or our next guest. So do you mind kind of hanging out backstage, if you will, for a little while?
Backstage.
Yeah, right? Okay, cool. Thank you, Dr. Bowden.
Thanks so much.
Oh,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
I dig her. She's super cool.
Yes, I'm glad you do because she's going to be me next week.
Yes, she is. Okay, so yes, she is. Next week, I'm sad, but I think we're going to survive. I'm not going to have Dr. Tiffany with me next week. She's going to be, well,
I'm going to be living it up in Italy.
I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous. But we'll have Dr. Bowden with us next week to fill in for Dr. Tiffany.
Yes.
So the show must go on. Okay, Dr. Tiffany, what is the problem?
Yes.
Why does this work? All of these people that I was just showing their this one here, Susan Calhoun. For me, I sleep much better. Stop the food noise. Dr. Tiffany, what exactly is the problem, and why is it seemingly so? Oh my goodness, A1C 14.7 down to 6.3. Medications from 13.
Yes,
Dr. Tiffany.
Yes.
Why are we seeing blood pressure, body weight, glucose? Why, Dr. Tiffany?
Yes, my goodness. Whew. I mean, I just had to pick up the pom-poms for that because that's just that. I mean, those results are ridiculous, you guys. I'm so excited that you guys do that and show us that. Okay, so the problem, let's back it up. The problem is us trying to deal with cardiometabolic health. Really, only 7% of Americans are walking around with good health. The other 93% of us are struggling. Yeah, and so when we say metabolic health, we're talking about high blood pressure, insulin resistance, low HDL, and a lot of other things. But it's a global concern, affects people of all nations, and affects people of all ages. It does not discriminate, okay? But good news, really, we can reverse this naturally. We can. So diabetes, that's one of the big, huge things that are a big indicator of poor metabolic health. 30.3 million people are walking around with it. That's 1 out of 10 people, right? But then 1 out of 4 don't even know they have it. And then pre-diabetes, something that we actually had to make a diagnosis code for. Before it used to be borderline. I got that borderline sugar problem. No, it actually is a diagnosis now, pre-diabetes. And 84.1 million people are walking around with it. But what's the sad part is 9 out of 10 people don't even know they have it. And then the heart disease thing. If you're in the US, this is still our #1 killer. And it's high on the list for many other countries too. But looking at the epidemic, because we say epidemic of diabetes, because it's getting across the world here. And then as you extrapolate down to 2040, I mean, you're looking at larger numbers. The world, 642 million people dealing with this global health crisis. And so, I like to ask this question because the reality is we pretty much know somebody dealing with something on this list. Heart disease, cancer. I mean, unfortunately, I know of people that are recently diagnosed with cancers, chronic lung disease, stroke, diabetes. If you know anybody, have anybody in your family, I'd love for you to put that in the chat if you know just one. But I know you know more than just one person, right? And the reason why this is so bad is because there's actually a central cause. There's actually a root to all these issues, and we haven't really been addressing them. And that root is insulin resistance. And so when I say insulin resistance, for some of you that have been on here and some of you new people, I'm going to go over what insulin is. It actually is a hormone. And it's a hormone that does a lot of things. But the things we're going to focus on is really how this hormone delivers energy into the cells, stores excess glucose as fat, and regulates blood sugar levels. Insulin resistance is a condition in which your cells don't respond to insulin like they should. And so what causes that? Having too much insulin in the bloodstream. But then what causes too much insulin? The things we eat and drink. And so when I say that, I mean, look at this example of a meal that the standard American probably does a lot more than they need to. That would be your fast food burger, your fries, your soda, all that sugar, sugar, sugar. It really boosts up your blood sugar levels because those are carbohydrates. And then what your body has to do is that pancreas, the organ behind your stomach, its job is to release insulin to bring those sugars down. So when it releases that insulin, it kind of hangs out a little bit because it doesn't drop quickly, not as quickly as that sugar does. So it's hanging out maybe 3 to 4 hours. And depending on your insulin sensitivity, maybe even longer. So it drops those glucose levels. And then you have this below sugar levels to where you're feeling tired, you're going to sleep, you're hangry. That's why you're hungry in a couple hours later. It's because it's dropped too low. That's why people maybe told you had hypoglycemia. Those are signs if you're having too much insulin floating around. And there's 5 things you can do immediately to fix this problem. You can really start doing more of a low carbohydrate or low glycemic index diet, meaning you're very, very purposeful about the grains or the carbs you eat, trying to decrease the portion sizes. You can avoid processed carbs and refined sugars because nobody needs to be eating those. Nobody. What they did was they made that more addictive. They took out the fiber so we can eat more of it and overeat. And they put all these dyes and colors to make it more attractive to the eyes. And then we just overeat it. Horrible, horrible mess. And then exercise, including resistance training, not just cardio. That muscle, building your muscle really helps with bringing that glucose into the cells. Huge. And then higher fiber. There's been some great studies on if you can increase fiber to 40 grams a day, you can compete with what the statins, that prescription that we prescribe for cholesterol does. You can compete with that. But who's eating 40 grams of fiber? I wasn't. I mean, that's like a whole bag of apples or a whole bag of broccoli. Who's doing that every day? So having something that gives us that fiber back is huge. And then using time-based eating, doing intermittent fasting. That is huge. Those 5 things can significantly improve that cardiometabolic risk. But, it's nice if you have something to help you. But this is the problem, and we have some great tools to help. That's why we're talking to you guys today.
I love this. You make that so digestible. It's easy to understand. I'm a simpleton. I get it, but like I don't want to dive into the text. And you did just that. You do it. You make it easy for us, and I appreciate that. I wanted to say I didn't notice on Instagram. The Instagram comments don't come up here quite as easy. 2020 Gino did say that clearer skin, losing of inches. In 2020 Gino, I see your question. We're definitely going to get to that when we get into the Q&A portion. So now one of my favorite parts of this of the live stream is I get to ask Dr. Tiffany a question. And this started actually in private with Dr. Tiffany about a year ago. Kind of led to this. We were having a conversation and I asked her a question that was kind of a hard-hitting question, and she gave me an honest truth. And I've always respected you for that, Dr. Tiff. You told me an answer that wasn't flattering to the medical profession and was very honest. And I've always liked that. And I've liked the fact that you let me ask you these questions. So today's hard-hitting question. I was watching a video on TikTok, and the video was talking about some side effects of Giardians. And I don't even know how to say this without getting gross, right? But something about flesh-eating bacteria in the nether regions. Dr. Tiffany, is it true? Is it true? Is it true? Does that really happen?
Leave it to you to come up with this type of stuff. That's what I get for answering truthfully a year ago. I should have just been like, not telling the truth. This led to this.
It ain't so.
Okay.
It ain't so. Because there's a lot of people. I saw a lady on a commercial out there in the streets dancing because she was on Giardians. Like, she was like, you've seen the commercial, right? Where they've got music and she's out there dancing. I'm like, if this is true, would she be dancing? Or maybe she's dancing for another reason.
Okay, so Giardians, that's in the family of SGLT2 inhibitors. And what that does is that helps you urinate out the sugars. So what they have found is that you can get fulminant necrosis, which is the flesh-eating bacteria, would be a simple way to say that. And it likes to do it around your genitals, around that tissue between your genitals and your rectum. That's the perineum. And so it attacks there. Some of the thinking is maybe it does that because of all the sugar that you're releasing. And it really causes more urological urine infections in men. So in fact, they are 10 to 1 times as much at risk of getting this issue. And it's a urologic emergency. This is not hang out. This is, you got to go into the ER type thing. It's huge. But they think it has a lot to do with all the sugar being released. Now, it is rare. In the studies from, I want to say 2013 to 2019, because I had to look up some of this stuff. They actually saw 55 cases in males in that time frame, but it is so rare and so horrible that now it's like, okay, we need to be thinking about that when we're prescribing this. The problem is the SGLT2 inhibitors are the medications you prescribe to diabetics who have heart disease or kidney issues because it helps them. And so that's the whole problem with medicine. You have a catch-22. Something can help, but that same something can harm. We see that with the GLP-1 agonists too. Same thing. That's why it's better just to be on something natural. So it gets y'all worse than us. So that woman can be dancing.
I'm floored. I'm floored. Because if you were a person who got prescribed that, is that something you wish the doctor was like, hey, there are some potential side effects, right? You might get a cough, you might get a runny nose, or you might get a flesh-eating bacteria in the nether regions. Like, you know what? I was okay with a cough and I was okay with a runny nose. The flesh-eating bacteria is where I draw the line.
Draw a lot right there.
If it were 1 in 1 billion people, I'd still be like, no, thank you, because I'll be that one in a billion. That would be me. That would be 100% me. That's the way that it works for me. So, okay, ick. Okay. Oh man. Okay. Oh, that is so disappointing. Okay, let me kind of go over here. Everybody, welcome to our live stream. My name is Jim. That's Dr. Tiff. And today we're talking about the Unicity Field Grade System. We do this every single Tuesday night. We are going to have a slight schedule change for next week, and it will be that schedule moving forward. We haven't exactly nailed down a time just yet, but we will. But here's the way that this works. We get on, we talk about the Field Grade System, and we give people an opportunity to tell their friends and family about it. Okay, so if you have been tagged into this live stream, or if this live stream has been shared with you, that means that somebody cares about you and they think this information could benefit you. If you decide you want to order the product, just get with the person who shared it with you or who tagged you into here, and they will tell you exactly how to order it. In the United States, it's about the price of a cup of coffee per day, and the company offers a 90-day money-back guarantee. They ensure your happiness. So more than that, if you are on the system and you want some friends and family member to know about this, share it with them. This is a prime time to do so. Share the live stream out, whichever platform you are on. We are currently live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, DLive, you name it. We are live on it right now. Just share the live stream with your friends and family that you think could benefit from it. If it's been shared with you, listen up. Somebody thinks they think it could benefit you. Okay. Are we ready for our second guest on?
I am.
Okay. I'm excited about this one. Now, this is a person who I have met in person now a couple different times, but she did not come across the product through either you or me. See, I told somebody about the product, and she went out and started talking about it, and this next guest found her.
Awesome.
Yeah, really super cool. And without further ado, her name is Renee. Hi, Renee. Oh, you're muted. Oh, you're muted. There we go. Uh-oh. Oh.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
No, and she's got a great story, too.
I know she does. Hey, Renee, I wonder if this isn't sometimes we didn't test the microphone going into this. Sometimes your phone needs to have permission to use the microphone. Maybe that's what it is. I'm going to swap spots with her real quick. And Renee, keep working to try and get your microphone on, adapt and overcome. I'm going to take this as an opportunity to kind of talk about how the system works, okay?
Yeah.
What it is, how does it work, and so on and so forth. Now, a little bit of history on the product. Rexall Pharmacy was at one point the largest pharmacy chain in North America. In fact, they were founded in the early 1900s. It's about a 120-some-year-old company. Now, in the late 80s, they developed a product called BioSlife. And BioSlife is now available in like almost 60 countries globally. This is a packet of BioSlife from South Korea. This is a packet of BioSlife from Saudi Arabia. In North America, in the United Kingdom, it's marketed as Balance. So if you hear us talk about Balance or BioSlife, they're kind of one and the same. The two names are synonymous with each other. So with that being said, Rexall Pharmacy developed that 35 years ago and put it out to market. What they saw was that the food industry was overly processing our foods. They were stripping the things that we needed, like fiber, like vitamins and minerals and that sort of thing. And they thought supplementation was going to be necessary. So what they did was went out and put together 7 different plant-based fibers and paired it with a multivitamin. Vitamin B6, I say folate, but it's actually folic acid, which is the synthetic of folate, which would be B9, and then B12. They put those all in there. Plus, there's niacin and riboflavin and chromium and zinc and all sorts, vitamin C, all sorts of other things. And that little blend right there has been studied all over the world. It's been studied at the Cleveland Clinic, and the Cleveland Clinic actually let me share this page right here. Let me see. I'm going to say share the screen. There we go. Okay. This is the Cleveland Clinic. Now, the Cleveland Clinic is widely perceived to be the top heart hospital in North America and one of the better hospitals, heart hospitals in the world. This particular study, Dr. Tiffany, maybe you can help explain what this is, but it is a randomized controlled trial. It is a double-blind, randomized, placebo-controlled clinical trial. That's a mouthful, right? And it was done at the preventative cardiology section of the Cleveland Clinic. And what they found, in a nutshell, well, not even in a nutshell, let me go down and just highlight it here. Such a product, if taken regularly, could reduce cardiovascular risk on a population basis and potentially decrease the need and or dose for lipid-lowering prescription drugs. Those are statins, aren't they, doctor?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Now, this study here was done at the, let's see, share this tab. This study here was done at the University of Sydney, Australia. The University of Sydney, Australia is the home of the glycemic index. And when I say that, I mean they maintain the International Glycemic Index database and website.
Yes, they do.
The group that does that is led by Dr. Jenny Brand Miller. Now, Dr. Jenny Brand Miller at the University of Sydney, Australia, has also studied BioSlife for Unicity International. Now, in this particular study, they found that it lowered the glycemic as well as the insulin index for all three test foods. That will have an effect on your blood sugar. In this study, they gave test patients white bread, which is a 100 on the glycemic index, and they found a 20 to 28% reduction in blood glucose levels and a 13 to 27% reduction in blood insulin levels. Now, those are massive, massive numbers. So, with that being said, that's only part of the protocol. The second part of the protocol is a tea. Now, the tea is a yerba mate supplement. Now, yerba mate has been pretty widely consumed for the last 500 to 1,000 years in South America. And the indigenous people of South America, of the regions of what are now Argentina, Brazil, and Paraguay, would say that it increases energy, it boosts their energy, their satiety, makes them feel full. What was it about that? Well, there's something in yerba mate tea called chlorogenic acid, and chlorogenic acid has now been scientifically proven to reduce blood pressure. It's been shown to increase GLP-1, the thing that you were just talking about, doctor.
Yep.
It's a natural, novel insulin sensitizer. It helps reverse insulin resistance. Now, Unimate, which is our tea, is a yerba mate extract. They took that yerba mate and extracted the good things like chlorogenic acid and highly concentrated it, purified it, got rid of the pesticides and the heavy metals, and we drink a couple of those a day.
Yep.
They cost about $2.25 a piece.
Yep.
About the price of a junk tea or a junk soda that you would buy at the convenience store, except this one here has been shown to increase GLP-1 production by up to 70% during a fasted state. Now, I make a bold statement like that. It's not me that said it. It was Dr. Benjamin Bickman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Dr. Ben Bickman has also now published research on the same product. And in that research, in a nutshell, he basically, well, let me just share that real quick. No reason for me to say in a nutshell. Let me go to that research. This is it right here.
Yes.
Yerba mate supplement. And this was done by Dr. Ben Bickman. This was published October of last year. Now, in this study, Dr. Bickman basically concluded that it made fat burning more efficient in the body. We burn fat faster and more efficiently. We kind of want to do that.
Yeah.
So how does this work in practice? The way that this works in practice, you wake up in the morning and you drink a tea. Now, doctor, I don't know if you drink yours hot or cold. I drink mine hot. I have one of these Yeti thermal cups. I think this is 30 ounces. I fill it with hot water, give it a stir, and I sip on this for 2 or 3 hours. When it's gone, I drink a second one. Sometimes that one's hot. Sometimes it's cold. Sometimes it's in this. Sometimes it's in a big 1 liter bottle.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. Just get it in your belly. It's going to increase GLP-1. It's going to help with those appetite suppression, the food noise, and that sort of thing. When that's done, you just transition to the second one. Now, before you eat your heaviest carb-loaded meal. So if you're going to have spaghetti for dinner, that's the meal I'm talking about. If
Right.
you're going to have a burger with French fries, that starchy bun and all those French fries and that soda, that's the meal I'm talking about. Before you do that, you crack open your Back of the Balance, you mix it up, and you chug that like your college days. I almost said high school days. Your college days, my high school days, everybody else's college days. Okay, that's the way that this works. We pair that with a 16 and 8 time-based eating schedule, and the magic happens. Okay, did I miss anything, doctor?
No. I'm still laughing about the chugging in the high school days.
Whoops. That wasn't me, Mom. Okay, do we have volume, Renee?
Hopefully, do we?
Yay!
Yes.
I had to
Okay.
log into the Wi-Fi, so
There we go. I am
All right.
so happy. I was getting ready to be upset because that would have sucked. I love your story. Renee, I want to kind of introduce you in a way that I introduce a lot of people. I want to know, how did you find out about the product? Where were you at that moment with your health? And where are you at today?
well, my dog needed to go out before the alarm is how this all started. It was like 4:30, almost 5 o'clock in the morning. He was like, alarm's not off. You can wait. Well, he couldn't wait. He needed out. I decided to scroll TikTok while I waited. Very first thing is somebody I had never seen on my newsfeed before, Miss Rowe. And she was telling her story, and I almost kept scrolling, but then she said she was from Texas, so I decided she deserved another minute or two of my time. And then she said something about having lowered her blood pressure or being off blood pressure medication. She had my attention because I was on blood pressure meds, trying to get off of them because I was put on them last year. I also had a very profound case of vertigo. So my health had been spiraling the last 5 years with the death of my son. He was taken by an intoxicated driver. So losing a child definitely adds in the depression and takes a toll on your health in more ways than just the grief and the depression. It takes a physical toll on your body. I ended up gaining well over 100 pounds. Who knows how many inches, because I'm looking at photos now and then, I'm unrecognizable. And so anyway, I found Ro. I decided, you know what? She said, money back guarantee. Let's do this. If it didn't work, it was going to be one more thing that, okay, well, I tried it, didn't work. I'll get my money back and move on with my life. And well, my 90 days came and I said, here, keep taking more of my money, take my husband's money, take my mother's money. We're all getting on this and we're taking our health back, because I ended up off my blood pressure medication. I am down 68 pounds. I'm down 49 inches. I can literally I can seriously look at the sky and say it's blue and mean that it's blue instead of, oh yeah, the sky's blue. The depression side of the grief is lifting. I feel amazing. We just did the whole trek to Utah and we're just getting back. And I have minimal inflammation, which normally I would have what you were talking about, cankles. I would have had that before this system. And I'm blown away. So, I was trying to keep it brief, so I could keep definitely going on, but I mean,
I love the story, and I want to touch real quick because I could spend. For those that know me the best, they would know that I'm really kind of fascinated with the mental aspect of this. Okay. Now there is a doctor, Cynthia Calkin, out of the Pacific Northwest, and Dr. Cynthia Calkin looks at bipolar treatment disorder, and she has made connections to insulin resistance. Now, causal versus, there's not causal yet. That's very difficult to prove, but it has to do with the blood-brain barrier dysfunction, and she's tested her hypothesis with metformin. Now, I'm never advocating for metformin, but it is curious that it actually worked. Bipolar treatment disorder and metformin. That's not the combination you would think would work. There is a connection. The gut-brain axis. There is something there. So when you say that dark cloud is kind of lifted, you're not alone. Kind of did it for me the same. And I'm fascinated by that. And I hear it actually pretty frequently. I don't know about you, Dr. Tiffany, but I hear people say, I just feel a little bit happier.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I mean, all the time. Even people that didn't feel like they had that problem, they do. They're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what it is. I just have this inner feeling of joy and peace. And I'm like, yes, my kids call it my hippie phase. And so, yes, I'm in my hippie phase.
I don't know if you're noticing all the love that you're getting here.
I kind of see a few pop-ups.
I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Okay. Here you go. Blenda says, thank you for your story, Renee.
You're welcome.
Okay. Doctor, what questions have you got for her?
Ooh.
I put you on the spot there.
Yeah, you did. Your story is so great, Renee. I always love seeing you, and I appreciate you. Not only are you just a sweet person, just all around, it's inside and out. So I love hearing your story and seeing you come on, and it's people like you that help touch other people. These are real stories, and I just want to make sure you get all your praise.
Yay!
Now, tell me this, okay? Were you somebody that followed the Feel Great system consistently? Took it every day,
yes,
all the time?
Yes, great. From the beginning. I was like, if I'm doing this, I'm doing this. I had taken myself initially off my blood pressure meds because I knew that they were part of what was keeping me exhausted. I didn't talk to my doctor. I just took myself off. Right or wrong, I was doing this. That was before I found this. And I was watching my blood pressure rise, and I was starting to get scared because I still hadn't fully recovered from vertigo. And I was worried that what if it got so high again that I relapse it completely and back in the hospital worse than before. And so it scared me, but not enough for me to go back on because I was always exhausted on the medication. And I couldn't. I was like, no, I've got to find something. And when I seen Ro and was just listening to her story, I'm one of those, I just keep scrolling. And with her, I don't know what it was, but I stopped and I paused and I listened. Of course, she was a fellow Texan, so I had to give her time.
You know what? She is such a powerful person.
For an hour and a half, she had my attention. And I'm just like, you know what have I got to lose? And it was the best thing I have done this year. And so I've been on it since January. I think somebody just asked. I've been on since January. And I have been consistent since the moment I started. In fact, I stress if I even think that I've left the house and didn't. I have it in my Bible cover. I have it in the cup holder of my car. I have it. I mean, I brought extra just in case, and I'm glad because our trip is extended a couple of days. So I brought extra because I don't want to be without. But yes, religiously. Now, in the beginning, I still continued to eat kind of what I wanted. But over time, my tastes have changed. And I don't necessarily want all the foods that I had before. I've learned to focus on my proteins and my fats and my fiber. And once I do those, I'm really not hungry for the rest. And I know if I am, I'm probably bored and need to find something to do. And that is something I have. It's just crazy. It's like my tastes have changed. Yeah. I am not giving up my tacos, but but yes, as far as consistency, absolutely. I've been consistent. I've given it my everything from the beginning. I have not yet fully incorporated exercise. I'm getting ready to kind of incorporate that a little bit more. Because I mean, it's important too. So
yeah.
Okay. So I think I'm going to bring Dr. Bowden back in. And this is a part of the conversation that I'm really going to enjoy. This is where we had some questions. I know already on Instagram, 2020 Gino asked quite a while ago, if someone does not have any obvious underlying health problems, shall these products be consumed? Doctor, do you mind if I take that one? Because I kind of have a response I say all the
Go
time.
ahead. Go ahead, Jim.
Okay. So there are studies that suggest that upwards of 90% or more of the population is metabolically dysfunctional. Now, these products directly address metabolic dysfunction or metabolic syndrome, insulin resistance, that sort of thing. Then 9 out of 10 Americans could directly benefit from it. Now, does that mean that the 10th person couldn't? I would say that everybody could directly benefit from it. But I think the more concerning thing would be to sit back and say, oh, I don't need it. I'm pretty healthy. So you're one of the 1 in 10 who fits that bill. It's amazing how many of us are sick. There we go. That's my answer. Dr. Tiffany, Dr. Bowden, Renee, do you guys have anything to say to that?
You know, we had my girlfriend on here last week. I mean, 33-year-old woman, had no weight to lose, but she noticed the mental clarity. She noticed the ability to focus. She noticed the energy. So yeah, it helped her. Skin tags. I mean, that's from insulin overgrowth. That's from hyperinsulinemia. People run around with skin tags and they don't have any other issues, but it helps that. So, I mean, psoriasis. Yeah, that's not a known medical condition where we're concerned about, but that improves too. So there's so many things that people don't realize they're dealing with that they could actually benefit from taking these products.
Adult acne. You were just talking about
Yep.
skin conditions. Adult acne is a big.
Yep, it is. I had that old lady acne. Clear my skin right on up.
I don't know how you can have old lady acne. You're 27.
That's right. I am.
What questions?
Anybody can benefit.
Yes.
We got a lot of knowledge right here. We've got 2 doctors on this live stream. And we've got 2 people, and Renee and myself, who have just had an amazing story on it. Guys, this is an amazing opportunity to talk about or to ask questions, whether it's to either of the doctors or Renee or myself. Please ask questions. I just love the nutrients. Michelle saying Jim in capital letters. Michelle, right back at you. I feel like she's yelling at me.
Probably is.
Yeah.
Dr. Bowden, while we're kind of waiting here in limbo, Dr. Bowden, what are your socials so that people can start following you for next week's live stream?
I am on Instagram and Facebook.
Okay. What are you on? How will they find you on those?
On Facebook by my name, Janisa Bowden.
Just like it's spelled right there.
Just like it's spelled. I
Lynette,
will try to share it to my business page also, which is Bowden's Natural Health Solutions. That's how it's found. And on Instagram is Dr. Janisa.
love it.
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Okay, Lynette Wright House asked, why are you called the Pitmaster? Lynette, maybe you can see over my shoulder here. This is a wall. I think it's obnoxious. I wouldn't have put it there. My wife liked it. These are trophies that I've earned along the Kansas City Barbecue Society Professional Competitive Barbecue Tour. I am a member of the Kansas City Barbecue Society. I'm a professional competitive barbecue cook. I love cooking barbecue. I'm one of those guys that took a hobby entirely too far. And in that world, people are referred to as pitmasters. Truth be told, in that world, I would never call myself a pitmaster. I consider it extremely arrogant. It would be to say that I've got nothing else to learn because I'm a master, and I've got a lot to learn. So that answers your question. She yells at me all the time, Lance says.
Oh, I like that question about teenagers and acne. Yeah, we have some teenagers that have been taking the product and it cleared their skin right on up. Yes.
I must have missed that question. Let's see. I didn't see. Oh, it must be further down from the scroll. Does consuming the balance cause burping or acid reflux?
Are you waiting for me to answer?
Yeah, I don't know if you were taking it or me. I took the last one.
Okay. Well, okay. So when you're dealing with the trillions of bacteria in the gut, you're going to get some gut symptoms. So does it cause acid reflux? No, it doesn't cause acid reflux, but people who do have acid reflux, sometimes they can feel more acidic in the morning. But that has to do with their gut kind of adjusting with the fasting and having an empty stomach, but it shouldn't cause acid reflux. And the burping, I can't say that it causes that, but okay. The problem is the bacteria in the gut. And when bacteria release any type of gases, it'll give some kind of burping. So, but I haven't had that happen a lot. I haven't even had people complain about burping. Honestly, have you? I haven't had that one.
No.
Now you get the burps from Ozempic and Wegovy. You get those nasty burps because they hold that food in the gut because they slow down the gut digestion so much. But I haven't had anybody really complain about that, nor did I have burping.
Dr. Tiffany, with if people is experiencing, can't tolerate the digestive issues, the burping, and those type things, I would say just use half a pack.
Yep.
Start out with half a pack of balance and build your tolerance up to it.
Yep. That's exactly right. Or add more water too.
Or add more water.
Mm-hmm.
So Kelly says, explain how it helps HS. What am I missing here? What is HS?
Maybe that's hidradenitis suppurativa, maybe? I don't know.
Oh my goodness, that James De La Fuente has that. That's an infection of the sweat glands, correct?
It is.
And I'm assuming that's supposed to be Crohn's.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Tiffany, do you want that one or do you want?
Well, you look like you were on the roll. Go ahead, Jim.
I was going to say Crohn's is a funny one, right? When we talk about that causal link between insulin resistance and Crohn's, that one's not really clear just yet. And truthfully, I haven't ever heard any success stories. And that being said, I've also never heard any failure stories. I've just never heard any stories with regard the product and Crohn's. And more to that point, I don't know that there is a link there. And maybe I'm wrong. Doctor, if you have something to chime in there. And then hidradenitis suppurativa is an infection of the, well, I'm going to let you take that one.
Yeah, I think both of these, the things that's going to link them is going to be the inflammation. I mean, Crohn's, you have a lot of inflammation of the intestines. I mean, it's a very, very distinct process. I mean, the guts are a huge mess with that. The whole intestines get really inflamed, make a cobblestone appearance. And then hidradenitis suppurativa is the inflammation of those sweat glands. And the reality is there isn't much that we do to treat these conditions. Like Crohn's, the medications they have to be on end up being hurtful to the body. Hidradenitis, really all they do is give them medications to help with pain. But when you decrease that inflammation, you do see improvement. So I have heard of someone having some improvement with their hidradenitis. I don't have a particular customer, but I think I've heard of someone having some, I think I want to say somebody in our team somewhere.
So James De La Fuente is over in the United Kingdom, and he's been on the system now for a couple of years. And one of the first things that he noticed was an improvement in that. He said he had it so bad, he had a hard time putting his arms down. It was really, really bad. He has scarring underneath his arms from it, and it is gone. It is completely gone. Could it help with shingles? Now, doctor, you're going to understand the methods. Doctors, I think you guys would understand the methods of that better than I would. Could it help with shingles?
Now, shingles is a viral infection, so the fasting itself will. The fasting itself, when you shut down and don't allow those cells to actually take over our cells, that helps a lot with the virus and the replication of those viruses. And then the inflammatory issues that it causes with those nerves. That would be my take on it, but I don't have the full science behind that. What do you think, Dr. Bowden?
I agree. Inflammation in general, just like
I think that's where we'd be going with that. Michelle said something about someone having Crohn's and felt like they were better after 9 months. So I'm not surprised.
Jennifer Barrows, can I get the same results drinking only one Unimate a day? I mean, the simple answer is no. Multiple Unimates really is kind of key to the protocol. Now, it's going to get a little bit fuzzy there because in The United States and in Canada, it is 2 Unimates and 1 balance. Elsewhere in the world, it would be 1 Unimate and 2 balance. They had a shift in focus about, 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah.
They shifted the protocol over to 2 Unimates and 1 balance. They could have done 2 and 2, but that would have made it somewhat cost prohibitive. So they elected to just do 2 Unimates and 1 balance. If you were doing 1 Unimate and 2 balance, you could have similar results. That's how I started on the protocol. Jennifer, unless you have a problem with caffeine or something like that, I would say drink your 2 Unimates. They're amazing for you. I'm going to take one more question. And let's see, what shall it be? I'm just going down the line here. I know I see Michelle's asking Renee what her favorite non-scale victory is, and I don't see any other health-related questions. So Renee, you get the final question. What is your favorite?
Oh, because she's not in the next room. So my favorite non-scale victory, I'm going to say it's if nothing else worked with this system, I'm going to say it's the depression side of grief lifting, because that's something really heavy to carry around all the time. And that's heavier than the weight that I gained. That's heavier than everything. And will it ever go completely away? Probably not. I mean, child loss is a huge thing. But the fact that I feel like I have regained my life back and I'm moving forward, that alone was worth every bit I have spent to date and then some. So
Yeah.
I love that.
Yes.
Okay, so I will go ahead and start wrapping this up. Renee and then Dr. Bowden, if you were given, say, 30 seconds, there are inevitably a lot of people who are going to be watching this who are going to be saying, I don't know, this seems too good to be true. What do you say to those people? And let's say under 30 seconds, what do you say to that person, Renee?
me. It has quieted the food noise. There's hope. If you feel like you have tried everything and nothing has worked, try it. You will get your money back if it does not work. And that's about the best I can tell you. I mean, try it for yourself and prove it wrong.
I love it. What about you, Dr. Bowden?
I think Renee summed it up right there. Short answer, just do it. You're not losing your money, 100% money back guaranteed. Just do it. Some people worries about making the adjustments, or it's hard for some people to make the adjustments with the eating changes. But again, I say just do it, because you get it in your system, you're going to find that you're going to begin to eat less and less and less and less.
I love it.
Yes.
Dr. Bowden, Renee, thank you. Dr. Tiff, hang out for 1 second here. Ladies, thank you for joining our live stream.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dr. Tiff, another week in the bag. This was an amazing live stream. I really did enjoy every single second of this live stream. Mm-hmm. Folks, I want to just reiterate really quick. If you were tagged into this live stream, that means that somebody thinks that you could benefit from the information that was provided during the live stream. If you decide you do want to order it, just get with that person, whoever it was that invited you into the live stream, whether it was by way of YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, whatever it was. Just get with the person who invited you in. They will tell you how to order the system. If you feel like you're on the system and you want to share it with somebody, share this with them. Share this with whoever it is that you think could benefit from it. And we're going to be back next week. Dr. Tiffany, well, I guess we're going to be back next week.
Not me. I'm being Italy. But anyway, I'll be back a week after that, though. And I'll be watching, though. I'll wake up in the middle of the night to watch, or in the morning. Okay, but anyway, so what's the point? We know too many people that are dealing with all these problems. And so if you have family members that have been dying and you're about tired of seeing these people die, you're about tired of not having something to help them, this is a way to do that with a 90-day money back guarantee. Why not try it? I mean, why not? That's why I'm here.
I love it. Dr. Tiff, have an amazing time in Italy. I'm so jealous. Have an amazing time in Italy. And the live stream will still be streamed on Dr. Tiffany's YouTube channel. So give Dr. Tiffany real quick. Dr. Tiffany, what are your socials? How do they find you?
Dr. Tiffany Marie.
Find the Healthy Pit Master on pretty much everything. You just search the Healthy Pit Master or at The Real Jim BBQ. Find me on everything. This live stream will stay on both Dr. Tiffany and my YouTube, the Facebook here. It will stay on those. So feel free to share this with people even after the live stream's over. Dr. Tiffany, have an amazing time.